what's up? It's kind of crappy outside. It looks sunny because I'm against the window right now, but it's like, I don't know, it's windy, humid, it's weird, it's overcast, it's gonna rain. I wanted to make this video since I have time today to do it, and I'm coming up on 20,000 miles. So what I wanted to do was kind of just give a glimpse of my ownership from brand new to 20,000 miles. I'm like almost at 19, so we're close enough. What I have done through my ownership of this car, and it's been August, so August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So I've owned this car for about 11 months, and I've just kept some notes with what's happened to the car, maybe the problems I've come across. I'm not gonna really talk about, you know, me putting the wheels and tires on or new tires or whatever, but I'm gonna talk about some things that I had to do because I did those things. So if you're looking at purchasing a Golf or a GTI, or maybe even an R. I probably wouldn't stretch it that far. These are some things that I have gone through with a 2018 GTI SE from driving it off the lot brand new to 20,000 miles. So hopefully if you're doing research on buying, this can be helpful. First and foremost, I adore this car. I love it. It's so fun to drive. I have as much fun driving it as the day I drove it off the lot. Even more so after I've done some things to it to kind of make it my own. While it was stock, I never got compliments on it. I never had people, you know, take a second look. But lowering the car, putting the wheels and tires on, I get compliments every single day. It's weird what subtle things can do to people's perception of a car. So either way, let's jump right into it, and I will start out with my passenger leather seat. One thing that I noticed, I had bought the car at night. The next day when I went back to fill out all the paperwork and finish that stuff up, I had noticed that the bolster on the sport seat of the passenger looked really worn. It looked like it had been set in for a long time by, you know, an extremely overweight person, and it just looked, the leather looked really worn down, which it should never have been that way. It was a brand new car. Long story short, and I mean long story, over several months, me kind of going back and forth with the dealership, me getting Volkswagen involved, and then kind of, you know, pretty much okaying the replacement because it was under warranty. I got the bolster, the seat cover replaced. So it's a cover, obviously, over the seat. So I got it replaced. Sadly, it is still not perfect. It's still not even near perfect. I would call it maybe mediocre. I wouldn't even call it good. You can tell when they put the new cover on, the seams and stuff like that aren't as tight as the driver's seat, and the bolster still looks bad. It does not look as bad as it did, so I'm content. But if it gets any worse, if, you know, the leather kind of continues to deteriorate, I definitely want to give it through the summer, get heat on it, get more people in the passenger seat, and hopefully just stretch it out or soften it, whatever needs to be done. I'm gonna give it some time. So that's the first thing that I've gone through with that car. Not the first thing I ever went through, but the first thing I'm gonna mention. That's out of the way. Second thing was the sunroof issue. This was a pain in my side. I had never heard a squeak out of the sunroof, and I took it in for my, hey, you just bought the car, you drove it 1,000 miles, let us do a look over thing that Volkswagen does, or maybe just my dealer does. One of the techs said they heard a noise in the sunroof and they were gonna go ahead and fix it. I was very grateful because I thought, man, you know, great, you guys found something that I didn't even notice, you know, go ahead and fix it. So after they fixed it, it was continuously squeaky, noisy. It sounded like a styrofoam container in the back of my car. And I know I've mentioned that before, but again, the dealership was super, super good about realizing, hey, you know, this is happening. I would like to think they took responsibility of saying, hey, we did this, because it never happened before they messed with it. But long story short, again, they fixed it finally after about the third time of bringing it in for that specific issue. So very grateful that noise is completely gone, but that's something also that I've gone through. And evidently that's a very common problem with the sunroofs with the GTIs. So let's see, my end links, I upgraded my end links. I did this because after I lowered the car, and I have a couple videos about this actually, I ended up upgrading to beefier end links for the sway bar because the joint on the stock end link would crack. I mean, it would just go koom koom. It does it still maybe once a week, but that's not, I mean, anything compared to what it was doing. So I did upgrade the end links because I lowered the car. Let's see, my B-pillar, interior B-pillar, I had to have replaced because I would just have my music on. I'd be playing like classical music or something, and it would be vibrating as if I had like a sub in the back of the car. The dealership was real good about saying, hey, we recognize that is a malfunction or not supposed to be that way. They replaced it, no questions asked. cost. Oil change, I've had one oil change done. I actually just got the indicator that I need my second oil change done, but it goes off to where you have 1,500 miles until you actually need to get your oil change done. So I think I have 1,300 miles till I need to get it done, but that'd be my second oil change in 20,000 miles. My battery and my key fob, this is a weird one. I mean, it's not really that big of a thing, but it's something worth mentioning that I've had to have. I've had key fobs for every car I've ever owned, and I've never had to replace the battery. Just lucky, I guess, but I had to replace this one several months ago, maybe like 3 months ago. So that was kind of odd to me, but you know, God knows how long this key's been in existence and how long it's had that battery in it. So I guess I'll kind of truly find out how long the battery life is since my replacement to the next time I have to replace it. I think I got a battery at Interstate, so I got a good battery for it because these are not that common, the ones that come in here. I had to go there to get it, so total with everything that I've had done, I may be forgetting something, I don't think I am, but total with everything that I've had done, the problems, and like I said, I wouldn't even really call these problems. These would never deter me from saying I loved my car or think about trading it in. I love my car and I would never trade it in right now. But with everything said, I spent about 190 bucks of my own money on this kind of stuff. The first oil change I got was for free. It was either free or I got money off for my birthday. I can't remember, but the battery and the key fob obviously I had to pay for, and the upgraded end links I had to pay for. No telling how much all this was with work, labor, parts, that kind of thing. You know, 80% of it was covered under warranty, but that's kind of a long list of, you know, things from 128 miles to 20,000 miles. Enough so that I thought I would make a video about it, not to forewarn people, but just to say, I mean, this is with any car. This could literally be with any car you could have issues with. My 3 Series BMW that I bought, so many issues. My 4 Series, literally not an issue. So it just totally depends on a lot of things that are out of our control. But those are the things, like I said, that I've come across. Overall, Volkswagen's been pretty good about doing everything. The dealership's been pretty good about doing everything. My specific service advisor, he's real great about trying to get things done and actually getting things done, but you can only do so much whenever, you know, whoever's above you is saying no or whatever. Needless to say, obviously, I'm a bit persistent, so if there is something on the car that shouldn't be there or should have been in better shape, that I'm paying for, I'm gonna do what I need to do to get it done. And that's why I got Volkswagen involved on the seat issue. So if that's your issue and your dealership is kind of like, about it, I literally just direct messaged Volkswagen on Twitter and they responded, and it was super quick from that point. But it sucks that it took that to get it done. I can understand it from the dealership's perspective as well. So the last few reviews that I've done, like especially over the 4 Series, the 20,000 mile, the 30,000 mile, the 40,000 mile, whatever I did, I can't remember. I kind of just talked about my experience with the car. I definitely did have things to bring up with this besides the fact that I love driving it and that kind of thing. These are like concrete crap that happened, so, and not just kind of my opinion about things and so on and so forth. So those are some of the things that I've gone through thus far, from 128 miles off the lot to a little under 20,000 miles. Again, just kind of recapping the whole thing, I adore the car. I love the car. I have no plans anytime soon to turn it in. Appreciate you watching. If you are not subscribed, think about it, consider it, toss it around, hit the subscribe button if you enjoy GTI content. C10 content's coming. Again, the E30's gone. I'm sorry. Evidently, a lot of people were butthurt about that. You know what? You gotta do what you gotta do. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.